Boy, I'm telling you, that music makes me want to like just stage dive into the crowd, but we social distancing. So
And you can't stage dive nowhere.
again, you just better look out. I'm gonna be all right as long as I land on one person. I'm good. Um, Listen, man, it's time for therapy. I've been watching Top Rank. Michaela Mayer, main event tonight against Helen Joseph. They're talking about Michaela Mayer's story, and then they brought up Helen Joseph's story. And dude, I had to throw my support behind Helen Joseph. I'd forgotten about her story that at 1 year old, her uncles poisoned her dad. And then I think her mom was murdered when she was 10 because the family wanted the land that they lived on. And then they sent her to Lagos into the city, and she was pretty much orphaned. She got a job in restaurants just to get food, not to buy food, but she would work in restaurants for food. And then she started joining the Nigerian boxing team just because she would get fed every day. Turned pro at
Wow.
14. And, it's just, you know, you got to support that, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm slacking because I always miss these fights because I'm always getting my butt whooped in somebody's gym. But listen, that's what it's all about. As a matter of fact, someone was talking about this earlier in the week. They were like, "How do we get boxing to support their guys like the MMA or UFC guys support them?" A lot of people are saying you got to tell the stories, and you got to let people know that the O is not that important.
Right.
All the greats have been beaten, with the exception of Mayweather and Joe Calzaghe. I mean, that's two out of how many thousands of guys that have ever laced them up. How many of the greats? And those guys are undefeated, but no one will still put them as the best ever. They still make the best ever in some people's list. So, you got to tell the story. You got to build up, some story, some drama to it. But man, listen, there's nothing like being a fighter.
Mm-mm.
Nothing like being a fighter. And I've never fought professionally or anything like that. But playing football at a pretty high level, I can tell you that that's nothing compared to being a fighter, man. And so we have to tip our hat to these men and women that go out there and put their lives on the line for our entertainment. I missed the Michaela Mayer story and the Helen Joseph story, but just by what you're telling me, it's compelling enough.
It is. And you're right. There's nothing like being a fighter. The closest thing I just did it in college. The closest thing I could really come to it is wrestling. High school wrestling. Because you're training every day and it's one-on-one. That's it. It's one-on-one. Nobody can help you when you step on that mat. You don't have a teammate that can reach out and pull you up if you're slacking. Because playing football, if I miss a block, my fullback may pick it up, or the guard may chip off and help me, or the tight end may have chipped and helped me on his way out for a route.
Right.
Wrestling, if you miss that double leg, they're gonna tear your head off with a crossface. You come across too far. So getting in the ring and boxing was, it was exhilarating. I wasn't doing it for a living, but it was still, you train not knowing what's going to happen. Even with headgear on, you see people get hurt. So you're right. There's nothing like that feeling of knowing that you get in there and it's the schoolyard to the 10th power with gloves.
Yeah.
But I was,
hit the nail.
so I was.
You kind of hit the nail on the head with that one. It's the ultimate solo act, so to speak. So, yeah, no teammates, nobody to catch you. So, with that being said, what we got going on tonight, brother?
Listen, we got a young man coming into the Beatdown to visit us, who I'm very impressed with his podcast, the Run and Gun podcast with Jay Peeps. He started it from scratch just because he really wanted to be a sports reporter. And he was going to school for physical therapy and sports, that whole thing. And he's turned this podcast into something special. Even when they do something and they have imperfections, it always works out. And a lot of it comes to do with the fact that he studies, constantly studying, always up on his craft. And he's got a great podcast voice. So I was excited when, I presented him to you and you were like, yeah, let's do it. it was, it was an honor to me because I've known him honestly, since he was one, and hopefully he's finally out of them diapers. But he's a fine young man. He really is, in all sense of the word. So to sound like I'm a preacher now. I'd like to introduce to some and present before others the host of the Run and Gun podcast, a Mr. J Peeps. Welcome to the Beatdown.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Badger and Brew. Appreciate it. It speaks volumes. I love this setup. I was watching the intro to this. I need to know how y'all did that. That was next level.
We really can't tell you that because
it's all him, and it ain't have nothing to do with me. I can tell you that.
Wait till we get to the next level, then I'll tell you.
I got you.
No, brother. Hey, what inspired you to jump out and do a podcast?
Honestly, really, to be honest, from the start, it was really just with me and JC, and even one of our other friends who's unfortunately not really with us doing the podcast anymore, or even running the sports page, DJ Suave, who goes to the University of Cincinnati. It started there because we're just like, you know what, we're not really playing sports anymore because we were really into it in high school, just playing sports, just trying to fight for those scholarships and stuff. And we just figured, what a better way to kind of be there, and still be around the game and love it than just, talk about it, give like a pregame analysis, a postgame analysis and stuff. And that's kind of where the podcast just kind of jumped off and stuff. Because at first we were on Facebook. And then after that, we migrated over to Twitter. And then after Twitter, we were like, you know what, it's time to kind of go to Instagram. And so now we've got an Instagram page. So on Facebook and Twitter, it's Penalty Talk. And on Instagram, it's Throw Flags. And then you already know the YouTube channel is Penalty Talk as well. And so far, it's trending up. I'm loving what we're seeing, especially on Twitter and stuff. It's a huge following from not only the HBCU community, but just all the other communities like the NFL, baseball, hockey, NASCAR here recently,
Well, that's one of the things that I love about your podcast, bro. You don't just give a score of an HBCU. You talk about the conference. You talk about the coaches, what's trending in the HBCUs at the time. You really get into each school and you give a little bit of a back history as to how they've been doing in athletics. I really love that because not even when you see HBCU schools on TV, and they're broadcasting their games, they don't always go in depth as to, okay, well, this coach really came from here and studied under this person. And, they did this last season. And you're really comprehensive with that. And I'm very appreciative because it made me start analyzing HBCUs again.
Yeah. It's because that idea actually was pitched at first because I was just like, you know what's something that we can do that can actually kind of help us trend up and take off? Because JC was like, well, we could talk about all these sports and these leagues and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Why not just talk about FAMU? Let's talk about Florida A&M. Let's talk about the MEAC. Let's talk about the SWAC. Let's talk about these other HBCU conferences and stuff. Primarily, we do talk about FAMU, but
I noticed that.
With talking about FAMU comes, FAMU's opponents and stuff, and so we have to.
But you never mentioned 24 karat. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, the 14 karat gold dancers. Oh, from Bethune-Cookman.
Did you say 14? Oh, let's go. Whatever.
See, the funny thing about it was with that. Because I was at the Classic last year. I know it didn't go the way they wanted it. We all wanted it to, but I was like, wait a minute, they're 14 karat gold dancers, so they should be wearing gold rather than wearing silver. So I was wondering what was going on with that. Hey, look, that's another discussion for another time. But I
14
know.
karat gold. You know what? But I've never seen 14 karat look so pure. I'm just saying. I'm turning over to you, Badger, because his mom's an alum from FAMU, and I'm not gonna be allowed back to nothing they do from this point on. I see this now.
Yeah, nah, it's just dope to hear him talk about this. I've said for a long time that we have to do a better job as a coach of promoting our schools. And I, for one, I was kind of raised in the era where a lot of people are going now. I was raised in a household where I was taught about my history. I've been woke. I've always been that. That's always been me. More importantly, I grew up in a house divided. My father was a Florida A&M alumni. My brother played at Cookman. My sister went to FAM. My uncle played at Cookman. Both were All-Americans. So I broke the trend in my house and went to a PWI. So I've been going to the Classics since I can remember. So, yeah, it's always been interested in my house. And then my cousin just got the head coaching job at Howard, Larry Scott. So,
what?
Yeah, that's my cousin. Yeah, so I kind of keep my pulse on HBCUs a little bit and kind of check them out every now and then, see what's going on.
Listen, Jay, I wouldn't even have known that had you not been on this show. Now, Howard is the HBCU that I pay attention to. But, DC, that and Bowie State.
Morgan State.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to belabor this one. My grandparents, when we came down here to Florida, my grandfather got tickets for my mom and I to go to the Classic when it was at Tampa Stadium when nobody showed up. And I was like, oh, okay, but we'd always heard about Morgan State's band because up there, that's the band. That's the baddest band in the land. My grandmother said, whoa, let me tell you something about FAMU. She said they came up to a Battle of the Bands at RFK Stadium in Washington, and this had to be in the 50s, the late 50s, early 60s. It couldn't have been any later than 61.
That's the Dr. Foster years, like when it was just starting.
And Morgan State got a hold of FAMU's routine, and they played FAMU's whole routine before FAM. Because they graciously let FAM go on last. And FAM realized Morgan State was playing their whole routine. So FAM talked to the stadium operators and said, hey, turn the lights off after we come, before we come on the field. FAM put lights on their shoes.
That sounds like something FAM you would do. That sounds like
they put lights on their shoes and they came out and played the entire set in pitch blackness. And then when it was all over, they turned the lights on and they were standing there, I guess doing the strike, but they were in the formation of Morgan State's emblem. And they just shut it down. So she said after she saw that, she would never say Morgan State was the baddest band in the land, even though she had family's ties to Morgan. She said, people in the stands just got up and left, those that didn't cheer, because they couldn't sit there and even wait for the winner.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's kind of how we do things in Florida. So, it's okay.
Yeah.
Bro. It's all right. Yeah. It's okay.
I know I should.
Y'all Northerners wouldn't understand, bro. So it's okay.
That's true.
I know. Well, Northerners wouldn't understand. That's why Howard is like the Ivy League of HBCUs.
It's fine.
Understand.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. They are.
That's fine.
The only other good academic school in the HBCUs had to move the girls' school across the street.
But listen,
so, I'm just saying.
That's all well and good, but has Howard ever made the cover of Time magazine?
I think so.
They didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. They didn't.
You had to think about it. They didn't. It's okay. But this is how we do it in Florida. We'll let y'all have. What you mean?
What did you make?
I think it was like 96, 97 when they were the pharmaceutical and the IB of the year. Yeah
they were 97. The South has always been good at producing good drugs.
Oh, don't jump on the bandwagon now. Don't do that now. Don't do that now.
And his mom came through the pharmaceutical program.
That's true.
So
Nah, but I got a lot of love for the people on the hill, man.
But Howard
His
never
fam
lost.
is all right with me.
Howard was never in any jeopardy of losing their accreditation. Just saying.
Hey man, why you bring that up? They ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. They ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. And even still, despite all that, y'all ain't ready. Y'all
Exactly.
ain't ready.
Exactly.
We whip y'all in football, but that's okay.
Whoa.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't think so.
Oh no. I don't know about that either, bro.
I think Howard didn't score till the fourth quarter last year.
That's terrible. Hey,
Okay.
but listen though, I gotta
make me have to pull up the record to see the last 10 years. How many times y'all actually beat Howard?
It don't look. I got to pull for Howard now because my cousin head coach there, so I got to pull for them a little bit. I'm still a Florida boy, so when they play fam, I still want fam to get in that butt. But for the time being though, I want Howard to do their thing, man.
I had great respect for fam as a '92 when they went undefeated.
It was 77.
No, it was '92 because they had an opportunity to go to the NCAA Division II back then when it was Division I and Division II or 1AA.
Yeah, 1AA
playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
and they chose to go to the Classic instead and got beat.
Oh yeah, 90, yeah.
That's what I just said. I see why y'all get underfunded.
My brother. Yeah, my brother paid them that year.
Yeah.
Listen, family had a few squads, but they just been suffering lately. And listen, Bethune ain't been much better. When they lost Brian, was it Jenkins?
Yeah, Brian Jenkins.
Man, he had that program on the rails. Them boys was turning them out. And then I'm not sure what the issue was with him. I kind of know, but I don't really want to talk about it. He got the exit plan. Yeah, he got the exit plan, and they just been kind of struggling ever since. So I want both of the Florida HBCUs to kind of come back up to prominence. We need that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Because
why would you say I kind of knew what it is? But I want to talk about it.
Because listen, I don't speak about things I have a first-hand account on. So we'll just leave it at that.
I was gonna say, I'm sure he knows because I know.
Yeah.
Mr. Reporter, since you know, speak on that.
All I'm gonna say is he should have been in Durham when he had no business being in Volusia County.
Yeah.
He should have been in Durham, North Carolina, getting ready for training camp.
Yeah.
When he got busted.
Yeah.
In Volusia County. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it is Florida, so
Hey man, what I told you about Florida slander on this show, you got to relax.
Those things seem to happen. Even Bob Kraft got busted in Volusia.
You got to relax.
No.
Hey, you got to chill, bro. You got to relax.
Yo, okay. So
that was funny.
Listen, because I wanted to see who won that fight, but we'll probably catch everybody up on Thursday or tomorrow, just a recap of who won that one. Hey, before we jump off, keep in mind UFC Fight Night is tomorrow, and they're still riding the big wave from UFC 251. It's gonna be good. Your boy Dan Eag fights tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I did see the promo for that. I did see that.
So we got to get Jay Peeps up on MMA because we just got.
I've been wanting to watch. I've been watching like these UFC fights and stuff on pay-per-view. The last one I saw, I can't remember the guy's name, but the last fight I saw, it was before all of this madness had happened. All this COVID-19 stuff had happened. It was around, I want to say maybe January, and
was that the Colby Covington Usman fight?
It was a black
dude. It was a black dude and then like a British dude that had fought.
Yeah, Kobe's American, but I think that's who you're talking about. Because the one that fight happened in January, right? Top of the year, right?
I think that was top of the year. Yeah.
Okay, because I remember going to Dave and Buster's to go see that fight on pay per view. Because I was like, is this what y'all do now? Because I'm thinking like old head Mike Tyson type fights and stuff. Like everybody, somebody ordered a fight on pay per view, and then we all go to one house and just watch the fight, and then after that we all go home.
Right.
But I go up into Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's is packed.
Yeah, it's turned.
Full of people. I was like, what? And then I'm just like, I'm gonna have to do this. Scott, I'm like, look, when all this is over, I'm taking me and my family, we gotta sit down and Well, there is another place down the road. It's called Duke's Brew House. They were showing the fight.
Dukes does it too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I gotta do this. I gotta sit down and do this and watch this. But I'm gonna probably go to Dave and Buster's and watch the fight because it was just more options and stuff to just sit down and order food, have drinks and stuff. It was nice.
You're not gonna believe this. I have never been to Dave and Buster's.
Really? Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. That was my first time too.
I have never. I mean, they had one in Southern Maryland when I lived up there. Before they opened, they had one in Miami, but they had nothing in anywhere around Central Florida.
Yeah, and then they opened 2 back-to-back, one in Orlando, one in Tampa.
And I was like, I gotta go see it. I used to go to GameWorks, Top Golf. I've just never been to Dave and Buster's. But I can tell you,
the one I went to was in Brandon.
Yeah, that's the one I'm gonna have to go to.
Yeah.
When we went to Miller's Ale House, it was packed and jammed when Ronda Rousey fought Amanda Nunes. And I'm so glad they hadn't started killing us by the droves then, because when I stood up and said, "Bye, Ronda," at the end of the fight when she got knocked out, I probably wouldn't have made it out at today's Miller Ale House. Somebody would have shot me along the way.
Yeah, you always tossing little innuendos out there, man. You gotta relax.
But listen,
you gotta chill, bro.
That place was thick. I mean, thick. I had never seen that many. Even for the hockey, the Stanley Cup Finals, when the Lightning was in it, Miller's wasn't that packed then. But then I realized the UFC was invented because we had taken over boxing.
Yes, I would agree with that. To me, it just seems like the UFC fighting has kind of just, grown to this whole new level. Mm-hmm. And then boxing is still trying to catch up. Because at one point it was, boxing was the end all be all, but now it just seems to me, the trend has been flipped and everything, but you got these big names and stuff in UFC and everything. And Dana White does a good job with his product and everything. So,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you real quick, what's the beat around the HBCUs? I haven't been keeping up with them, but what's going on with them as far as the prospective season coming up for 2020? Are they talking about playing games, or are they canceling the season? What have you heard anything?
So far from what it looks like, because the SIAC and the CIAA, both conferences, the SIAC had already announced they weren't going to play fall sports, so did the CIAA. Because, and mind you, now what that has done is that has now put FAMU and Alabama State at a position where they are both scrambling to find new opponents for their openers. Orange Blossom Classic is still on because the MEAC and the SWAC haven't canceled their seasons, but so far, two HBCU conferences have canceled the fall sports.
But the stronger two are still.
Yes. Yes. Morgan State is actually out of an opponent, though, too.
What I will say, what we talked about on the show, man, a few weeks back, we're just talking about how COVID is really going to affect a lot of schools. We didn't talk about the effect it would have on HBCUs, which is to not be underestimated, because we know what it's going to do to some PWI schools that depend on football to basically fund their entire athletic department. HBCUs who already kind of struggle to make these ends meet, right? Now you're taking away football to a degree, and the band as well. That's a lot of money that you're taking out of these schools, and we're just going to try to see how these schools are going to recover, because that deficit has to get made up somewhere. Now you don't even have kids on campus. This whole thing's going to get real interesting, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is, because I'm saying to myself, I think ultimately it's the HBCUs are going to probably do whatever, the SEC and the ACC decide to do, because, the MEAC and the SWAC, they share the same region as the ACC and the SEC. Whatever they do, I think that's what they're going to do. And it's going to be tough because, a lot of people are just trying to have these proposals of how do you bring kids back to campus? Yeah. How often do you test these kids and everything like that? And then, at the same time, too, keep them socially distant away from people and stuff. And, you're seeing it. Hopefully they're making the smart decisions, because, we we've seen at LSU and Texas, players are out having parties and stuff. But I think I kind of commend the HBCUs because, recently FAMU tested 20 players and 6 coaches, and everyone tested negative, thankfully. But at the same time, too, you had North Carolina A&T who tested multiple players, and some results came back positive. So like I said, I don't know. I think just the whole season is, no pun intended, on life support right now.
Remind me to ask you guys a question about Texas, about the University of Texas. Well, I'll just go ahead and ask. The players, some of the players said they wouldn't play until a lot of changes were made at the University of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they said that the Eyes of Texas, they would not yield on that song, but they would stop the minstrel show at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somebody fill me, and I missed that. What was the minstrel show at Texas? How did I miss this?
Part of their opening ceremonies, they have people in blackface. This is
no, they don't. They don't. Yes. No,
yes.
I didn't hear about that part. I heard about the part where like players want to change, and I heard about the Eyes of Texas or the Stars of Texas, I believe it is.
No, the Eyes of Texas.
Oh, it's called the Eyes of Texas.
Yeah.
I've heard about that part. Because I know here recently they said they're not going to change that, but what they did do also is they named the field after
Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams.
And Ricky Williams,
yes. They took Darrell Royal Stadium and they named it after Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams. Okay, now this is what they talked about on First Take this morning. And they made sure they tried to gloss over it, but of course, Marcus Spears wasn't going to let them gloss over when they talked about the minstrel show that they always do. We only see them when they bring the wagon across or when they bring Bevo across.
Yes. Yeah.
But before they bring Bevo across, there are people in blackface, evidently, that come out and dance around. And they've been doing it for decades. And they finally decided,
bro,
you know what? We probably need to get rid of that.
Bro, you mean it? Nah, dog. Are you serious?
That's what they said on ESPN.
I'm gonna need receipts. I'm gonna need receipts.
It is true.
See,
UT, Texas A&M, and Texas schools have long history of blackface. This is from February of 2019. It was in the Dallas Morning News.
What?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen this on any major news outlets. Nobody said anything about it. Like what?
No, that's because Black lives don't matter.
ESPN and all the major news networks made sure to cut that part out.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Because I've always seen Bevo. They always mention Bevo.
Yeah, you see the wagon, all that, right?
Mm-hmm. But you never see this part. This is my first time hearing about this. But I see now why one of Texas' starting linebackers, DeMarvion Overshown, said he was going to sit out until the university makes a real change. He had a whole statement about it.
But what's surprising is that people have been aware of this and no one said anything till now. That's the crazy part.
Exactly.
If you take a frog and you put him room temperature water, and you turn that thing up 1 degree every minute, when he starts to boil, he'll never know he's dying. If you're used to it, what do you complain about?
I ain't talking about the University of Texas players. I'm talking about the players from other schools that know about this. Like, how has this not become a thing?
Yeah,
it's not like it's self-contained. Yeah. They play 6 other teams from other states and other places. They know about this. How is this happening in the Big 12? No one else has said anything? Like, this is crazy.
Get Vince Young for an interview and ask him how he felt about it.
Ricky Williams, all them dudes. Like, what?
Exactly. And then you have all these teams that come in, like y'all were saying, that come in from these different parts of the state. Like LSU had players on the field before the game even started last year. Did y'all see this and not break this to anybody? I mean, I can understand if you're really focused on the game and stuff, but there comes a time when you just got to be, be aware of certain stuff.
Listen, I tell this story all the time. I played a game at the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg. Back when it was Conference USA. And I will never forget, I haven't been called nigga so much in my life. How do you not notice that or forget? You heard it. So for you to say that they were nah, that's crazy, man. I don't nah.
I just googled it. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I can't believe it myself.
It was on a high school level, but we played against a team called Bronson up in Bronson, Florida. I don't know if y'all have ever been.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Florida.
Yeah.
They had a quarterback named Cecil Galloway when we played. Cecil was the 100 and 200 meter Florida State champion, but they were 1A. Back before they rearranged all these different divisions, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. And we played up there, and they made us. You knew, okay, first of all, you knew you were in the wrong spot when they made our locker room was the shower, the old shower on the corner of the field with no ventilation. And then I just happened to walk out because I would always want to get some fresh air before, we had this loud rah-rah talk. And I saw them bust the black people in. I kid you not. I thought it was just me, but my grandfather said the same thing. He was like, did you see all the black fans get off the bus? Bro, it was systematic. They went and they sat on the far end of the stands because they had the press box in the middle. Old stadium, old. And then at halftime, they raffled off a shotgun. I was like, how let's finish this game? And after the game, they held on because we came storming back, but they held on. That's the first time I'd ever been called for a holding penalty, and I wasn't even on the field. At the end of the game, the black folks got in the line, went past the white folks stands, got on the bus, and got up out of there. It was just surreal for me.
I don't blame you.
It was surreal.
I don't blame you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've never really had a situation like that, but I will say I've been to the Egg Bowl before. It's a tremendous environment.
Ole Miss?
I'm not at Ole Miss, although I'm gonna get to that part. It was in Starkville, but it was a heck of an environment. Loved it. I would definitely do it again under certain circumstances. But you could just see where the Ole Miss fans just seemed a little different from that of the Mississippi State fans. Like they come in there and then they love to dress up for games and stuff still, like it's the 60s, and they dress up and they act like they're better than everybody, and then they're just throwing stuff at people, like throwing beer, throwing soda on people, throwing food on people, and I'm just like, we don't get these types of things in Florida. Like it's just a different,
because we'll tear some shit up. That's why they don't do that here.
Yeah. And I'm just like these people, nothing happens to them. Security doesn't come get them.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then you smuggle liquor into the stadium and everything like that. It's just the vibe in Mississippi was just different. I was just,
yeah.
And then when the game ended, it was like, cut the lights off. That's it. Go home.
We played University of South Carolina in Columbia. And that was an experience, but those fans were surprisingly not bad. And a lot of that was because the stadium was so big. I mean, that stadium held back when I played like 85,000 people, I think, or 80,000 people. So, wow. I mean, you couldn't really make out anything other than what you heard on the announcer. So if they were saying something, you couldn't hear it. But those SEC fans are different. But them people in Southern Miss, boy, that was an experience.
I'm sure.
For years, decades, I've said a couple decades. I would love to talk to some of the black players from Ole Miss who had to come out under the covering of the Confederate flag to find out how they felt playing for that school. Because
that flag flew high at University of South Carolina when we played that game. That was a flag that was flying over the stadium. So that
was right before Lou Holt said he wouldn't coach another game.
Yeah.
And that was the whole time. Serena Williams said, the Williams sisters said they wouldn't come to the tennis tournament there. And I forgot about that.
Hey, so what do you guys think about all these name changes that's going on? And do you guys think the Atlanta Braves will be able to slip through the cracks? You think they'll make it out? Or they going to get them too?
Okay. So with that, the Redskins, honestly, I will say,
they out.
Yeah, it's
that's
time.
out. Yeah.
Everybody's saying Washington Warriors with the
Well, I'm telling
Washington
you, the
Redskins,
Washington Nationals is the way they should go.
but see, that's the baseball team already
Right, but it claims name of the, and
of
that's
the
what I was
city.
trying to come up with the other night, and I couldn't remember it, Badger. It gives like an allegiance to the city. Like, okay, we got the Nationals
I can
playing
understand that.
baseball. Now we got the Nationals playing football. So this is, and right now you got a nationalist president. So now you have a nationalist city.
Wow, I can understand where you're coming from. I can understand that. My second one was the one that a lot of people had just proposed, the Washington Red Tails, and I've kind of gotten a lot of backlash on about that on Twitter because they're like, why would you give a name like that to a racist organization and stuff? I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, look, you got to do something. I can understand that. I understand that, but you got to do something at the same time to kind of pay honor to the Tuskegee Airmen, and
Right,
that's
but
what
you're
we do.
also building in taunting with that name.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
when you
that
go
is
to
true.
a city, all you're gonna hear constantly is whoop that tail, whoop that tail. I'm just telling you,
Oh
red
man.
tail is gonna. Why not just? I mean, I'm just saying, if you really want to pay homage to the owners of the team, call them the Washington Rednecks.
I'm just curious because I think the Atlanta Braves
Oh yeah, that was the question.
Yeah,
and
well, my bad. Oh,
no, it's cool. I think the Braves and the Chiefs are gonna really have a hard time trying to tread water on this. I think Atlanta might be safe because Brave, it's not a negative connotation, right?
yeah. It's
And the
and
logo is just a tomahawk; it's not a face.
yeah. So
They may be okay. The Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about that one. I don't know how they're going to make it out. But here's one: the Florida State Seminoles.
That's what I thought
Whoa,
you were going to
whoa.
first.
Yeah,
And I'm glad that you said that. And before I jump into that, I want to let you. I want to say, yeah, I think the Braves will be safe. Actually, I got the tomahawk right there behind me from the
I
'95
see it.
World
I see
Series.
it.
Yep, I had two of them. I don't know where the other one is, but
My bad.
on the Florida State, a lot of people are saying, Florida State is in trouble and stuff with the name. But the thing we have to realize is, having a sister that went to Florida State has a significant relationship with the Seminole Indian tribe here in Florida. And even too, even though I'm pretty sure that land probably is stolen from Seminole Indians because of, what happened during the Andrew Jackson days back in the 1800s, the university has built a very strong relationship with them over that time. And as well, when Bobby Bowden came in and became head coach, his wife wanted to create the whole Chief Osceola symbol and everything. So the whole pregame tradition and stuff. And with that, you know, they were like, how are we going to do this? So she went to the Seminole Indians in Florida, and they said, "Oh, sure, we'll help you out. We will definitely help you out, help you design everything and stuff, help you pick out, how is this supposed to look, get it exactly right." And they face paint everything on a white student at that. Seminole Indians are cool with this now, mind you that. And, they even help design the uniforms that the teams wear. I believe Florida State's basketball team wears a blue uniform that honors the Native American tradition. And they do it about at least probably, I want to say 5 times a year. The men's basketball team and the women's basketball team does it. So I think Florida State will be okay. I think Florida State will come away fine with the whole situation.
5 words: Money.
That
When this
too.
came up a while ago, Kathy Fountain used to have a show on Fox here in Tampa, a noonday show, and they had a chief from the Seminole tribe who sat on the council, and they had several people from the local Seminole Nation come in, and they were talking about how detrimental it is, and the chief said, "Well, the licensed tomahawks that you can buy, we make, and we receive a profit from the school off of those tomahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And they donate money to the Seminole Council every year."
Right.
So
Right.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think the Seminoles as a whole are going to pester Florida State?
Well,
Right.
but see, that's the problem. It won't come from the Seminoles. It will be social pressure from outside,
I don't think
which
you
is
can
how
do that.
most of these things start. Most of these things don't start in the insulation of the community because the community, like you said, they've accepted. They're kind of okay with the status quo. It's the outside pressure that you get. My thing with
Yeah.
Florida State is, I don't know if they're going to make it out of this, but I will say this: they're going to have to stop the tomahawk chop. That whole that. I think they're gonna have to get away with that, and they're gonna have to get rid of it because they're gonna make the Atlanta Braves stop doing it. And remember, the Atlanta Braves got from Florida State. Deion Sanders brought that when he joined the Atlanta Braves team. So
Yeah.
I think something's got to change. It may not be a name, but something's gonna have to give there a little
And
bit.
the Chiefs took it from
Yeah.
Florida State as well.
Yes, they did. Because I was watching the Chiefs game for the first time in God knows how long a couple years ago.
Yeah, and they were doing like what?
And yes, exactly. I'm like, wait a minute. So is this what we all doing now? We just all copying Florida State?
Yeah, that's
But
what.
I understand. It's unreal. But yeah, I think because the Braves have already said they're not going to change the name, but they are going to visit the option of Tomahawk.
When they changed the logo, was about 2 decades ago.
Yeah, that helped them out a lot.
That really helped them out.
That helped them out a lot. Yeah.
When Bobby Cox was still the manager, and they went to the A on the hat.
What do you guys think is going to happen with the Cleveland Indians?
Well, they already put the C on the hat.
They're done.
They had to get rid of that.
They took theirs out real quiet, real smooth.
Yeah.
Like, you're
right. And it's black there for a few years. You're right.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. Okay. But the name, though, man.
Yeah.
The name. What?
Hey, I want to know. We're talking about all these Indian things, but ain't nobody saying nothing about the North Carolina Tar Heels.
You know what? I heard about that one too.
Break that down for me. Break that down for me. I'm not aware.
I was going. Jacquez Green was just talking about this too.
Wait, the Jacquez Green from University of Florida?
Yep.
I hated that guy. He broke my heart. I hated Jacquez Green. All right, but go ahead. That's another story. Go ahead.
It's okay. Where is? Yeah, they were.
And my brother is a graduate alumni of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So I really want to get in on this so I can have something to talk to him about.
Let's see. Tar Heel meaning evolved from derogatory to proud. You hear it. Yeah, the identity and the symbol originated before the university was even founded. Before its name, the term evolved since its creation. The term Tar Heel came to be used as a name for a poor white and black naval store worker in the mid-19th century who, due to working with waterproofing materials such as rosin and tar, walked around with tar on their heels. Oh, wait, calling someone a Tar Heel meant they were like a slave, Watson said. It was an insult about class and an insult about race. During the Civil War, Virginia soldiers would pick fights with North Carolina soldiers by calling them Tar Heels.
Wait, so Virginia and North Carolina had a thing?
Yes, it's a big rivalry. I went to school in North Carolina my freshman year.
We don't recognize that rivalry anywhere else outside in the world, like UNC and Virginia.
Be honest, I have to agree with you because I understood they had a little something going on the basketball court, but
what I'm saying is it's a real rivalry. I don't mean just in athletics. It's a real rivalry.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know anybody that knows that except maybe people that went to school there. Like, I feel like to be a rivalry, it has to matter to people that aren't even there. Like, no matter where you are, when you hear Florida State, Florida, they're like, oh. Or Florida State, Miami, they're like, whoa. Yeah, you get that, right? But Ohio State, Michigan, whoa, you know that's a thing.
But originally, when Florida State and Miami played, nobody cared. When Miami had the black helmets on, nobody cared.
Yep, that's true.
Because they weren't winning.
Well, both teams had to become good, but when they became good, they transcended sports, and they became the biggest rivalry in college football for over a decade.
But listen, I can still hear it. Back in the day, somebody from North Carolina talking about what you doing there. Somebody from Virginia talking about, shut up, you daggum Tar Heel, get a rope, and they just go at it. I'm telling you.
Wow, I never knew that.
Hey,
yeah, I remember he was talking about it because everybody, because he kept naming schools and stuff that who are they going to come for next? Who are they going to come? because he was saying Florida State, you're on the clock. Ole Miss, you might as well shut down the whole campus now.
Right.
And then so he was saying like, what's so significant about UNC? And then someone mentioned that, and I was like, oh snap.
Right. I mean, my mom made a statement way back in the day. She said, if you're gonna have the North Carolina Tar Heels, you should just have the University of Florida Crackers. That's what she said. She said, because listen now, but Cracker was a name that was used positively amongst.
Oh yeah, they embraced that. They embraced that.
They called them the Florida Crackers because they cracked the whip. So I mean, I'm sure that name still would be popular if
they named a school Cracker Trail Elementary where I'm from.
Stop it.
That's a middle school. It's a real thing. Like the community, people in the community signed a petition to try to get that to not become a thing. But that is the name of a school back where I'm from, Cracker Trail Elementary. It's a thing.
What? Wait, what part of Florida is this?
Central Florida, Sebring. Like an hour from here.
It's longer than that.
Hour 15 minutes
to get there. Really?
Hold on, what's it called again? Cracker what?
Cracker Trail Elementary.
Oh my gosh, it is. Yep, Cracker Trail Elementary.
Don't you also have Nigger Toe Middle?
No, we don't.
Oh,
no, yeah.
Don't know where you made that up. Gosh. You got to relax, bro. Okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, that was a thing, man. And they was trying to get petitions to keep that from getting pushed through, but. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, the school is along of the historic Florida Trail, which is called the historic Florida Cracker Trail.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, did you go there?
No. Okay. But by the time they got to school, I think I was already in high school or getting ready to go to high school when it came up.
So you don't have a Cracker Trail Elementary like sweatshirt?
Nah, I don't. Sorry. I can get you one. You want one?
I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, get one. Get one. We can give it away on the Get one. Please get one. When you go home, I give you money.
I'll see what I can do. See if I can rustle up one for you.
Rustle up. That's the perfect term for Cracker Trail Elementary.
That's why I said it. It fits.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh, yo, I'm just letting you come up with a whole new routine because that was funny.
Oh my gosh.
That was funny. You're a funny man.
Oh man.
So we're up against the clock, bro. We got a story coming up or what?
Oh man, this show flew.
Yeah, man.
It really did. Wow.
My goodness.
Thanks to you, J Peeps, because if it was him, it would have been dragging on forever. So I appreciate it.
Anytime.
You know, we got to forgive him being an alumnus of Cracker Trail Elementary. We got to really forgive him.
You got to chill, bro.
I know, right? Oh, my.
I don't know why you would say that in my presence. Really? Of all people.
I'm going to hear all about that next time I see him in person. Yeah. I'm going to hear all about that.
Listen, before I get into the story, J Peeps, tell everybody where they can find you in the Run and Gun podcast.
Oh, yeah. They can find us on YouTube. Just type in Penalty Talk, like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on Twitter at Penalty Talk. You can find us on Facebook at Penalty Talk as well. And then you can also find us on Instagram. But on Instagram, it's at Throw Flags. We tried to get the Penalty Talk label on Instagram, but, everyone's on Instagram now, so someone probably already stole it. So it's Throw Flags there. So, and everyone liked it. So they were like, you know what, let's just stick with this. I think some people kind of get confused and stuff when they kind of look for us on Instagram. Yeah. But, just tell them repeatedly, it's at Throw Flags. And Throw Flags all together. There's no underscore at all, just at Throw Flags.
Wow. Okay.
For sure, man.
All right.
We definitely enjoy having you on, brother.
Do we have your personal IG? Like, if they want to get in touch with you?
I also appreciate that, Badger, for saying that. He said Ritz crackers. But my
shouts out to Pops, man, with the jokes.
my personal is on Instagram and really on Twitter too. Well, I think on Twitter. I gotta go back and check my own personal Twitter. But my own personal Instagram that I'm always on is at JPeeps22. I just put the 22 because that's the number I wore back in high school. But yeah,
Shout out to Tampa Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Crusaders. Okay, I see you.
Yep.
I see
He
you.
played DB
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, a fella. Okay, he's a good guy. Then I
Yeah.
like this guy. I like this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Played safety and corner.
Yes.
Oh.
He's
Yeah.
very good
Which
at breaking down an offense, man.
which was easier for you?
Honestly, I enjoyed playing corner more because I like to play up on the line. I want to get my hands on you, that way I can control you before you can make the move. And then the best thing in the world was always like an official that would say, you know what, you can get up a little bit more on the line, versus an official saying, you know what, back up some.
Right.
Because I'm like, come on, man, like
He get a head
us
start.
play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean that was always my thing, because sometimes when I was in safety and stuff, it just I can see everything, but I want to be able to get my hands on you, that way I can control you. That's my main thing. Then I can protect the perimeter and stuff, and force everything to come back inside to the rest of the pursuit coming my way. It just, corner was so much more fun. But it didn't matter which side though, whether it was left or right. It didn't matter. I was like, look, just tell me what side I'm going to. I'll play it.
For sure. Okay. Man of
Nice.
conviction. I like that. We'll have to have another chat about football another day. I don't like to talk about my football stories because that's like a far past for me, but we can have some conversation, man. It's like you know what you're talking about, so that's cool.
Yes, sir.
He does. Hey, listen, this COVID crisis is hurting everybody. It is hurting everybody. And because so many people are out of work, like you see people now, instead of driving, taking the bus. Sitting on the bus the other day, have a mask on, having gloves on, hands in my pocket. Heard this woman talking to her friend. And her friend was like, how are things going now that your husband hasn't been able to work? And she said, my husband made a lot of money. He was making the high six figures every year. And she said, he took care of me. Because when he met me, I was a prostitute. I was a pretty high-priced call girl, but I was a prostitute. So, he met me. He wasn't making a lot of money then, but he said, hey, if you will give up the lifestyle and commit to a lifestyle with me, I will get you back up to more than you're currently making. And I won't ask you to work another day in your life. So she believed in him, and she did. And Buddy made a lot of money doing investment banking and actually ran his own business, did well, high six figures. So when COVID hit and people started pulling out and the market started tanking, she said he looked up one day and she was looking at some of her old costumes in the closet. And she said, I could go back to doing this just until you get back on your feet. Now, mind you, 30 years had passed. So he said, baby, I told you never have to work another day and we're okay. We don't need it. She says, I want to do this for you. You work so hard to get me out of that lifestyle. Let it pay us back. So he said, baby, I don't like the idea, but okay. Okay. So she went out to work. The next morning he got up early before she left and gave her, ran her bath water and fixed her breakfast and had a cup of coffee waiting for her and even volunteered to drive her to the corner that she was going to start out on. She left. He put her out on the corner. I think it was about 6:30 in the morning. She got in about 12:30 the next morning. Through the money that she made up on the mantle, he had already run her a bath. She went, took her clothes off, got in the bath water, and he came in counting the money.
It's a parable.
Counting the money saying, this is $120. What cheap sucker gave you $20? She threw her head back and said, all of them.
See, this is kind of what I be talking about. This is exactly why I don't like to give him this opportunity, but I have to because we family. But this is why now Jay Peeps, now you understand my pain.
Oh my gosh.
She works hard for
Oh my.
Good thing this ain't a family show. Speaking of family, shout out to
Right?
Georgia Dawkins. Yes, you are late, dear, but better late than never. And yes,
You not late. You were right on time for that story.
that was something, and she hated it.
Well, then I did my job. So, I'm good with that.
Something
Good
to
with that.
go.
I ain't scared of you. G
Something to go.
I ain't scared of you.
Oh man,
I thought the story was going to end good, where it's going to be like, you know what, I'm gonna quit being a prostitute and I'm gonna just be with you. I thought it was going to end good.
his stories never end well.
They do end well. Some of them do end well. Look, she was able to keep her skills in customer service and put them to work during the COVID crisis.
She probably got COVID. I'm gonna be honest.
No, she got
COVID is
it.
the least of her worries.
She got it.
Yeah, she's got
it.
it. She got it, and then some.
Oh man, thank you, George. I appreciate it, baby. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's your birthday.
No.
Yeah, a little something like that, man. A little something like that.
No, wait a minute.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it, bro.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey man, I'm just getting old, man.
Yes, you are, but happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
Take the hat
He's
and
not
glasses
getting-
off.
He's not getting old. He doesn't have any gray hairs. He's good.
Take the hat and glasses
This
off.
might be a couple under here, bro. It's a couple under here.
They're there, Jay. Trust me. They're there. They're there. Yeah. That's why he keeps us all trimmed up. Close, because you know they start coming in at the bottom and working on. You ain't fooling nobody, old man.
Hey, it's all good. That's why I stay in the gym for people like him. It's all good.
Hey, you got two ways to go when you get older. You can stay in shape so you look younger, or you can stay fat so you look cuddly with chubby cheeks. It works the same way.
Yeah, that's why you're so happy.
Well, that's not why I'm happy.
Oh my god.
Shout out to my wife. Oh, and my daughter. Yeah. Oh, since we're doing happy birthdays, happy birthday to Reverend Thomas Wicks. Somebody getting old. He's really starting to show it. But you know what? Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
For sure.
At least your wife still looks incredibly young, so you should be happy about that.
He might not be a reverend much longer after he make them comments. But with that being said, man, listen, we want to appreciate the love, J Peeps, man. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, sir.
If you need us to jump
I
on-
enjoyed this.
Yeah, man. It's kind of what we do, man. So if you need us to come jump on your platform and need anything from us, brother, we right here. Just don't be afraid to reach out to us, man.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to everybody for rocking with us, man. Fighter Share Nation. Listen, for everybody in the struggle, man, keep your head up. All my entrepreneurs out there, man, keep the good fight going. With that being said, Fighter Share Nation, man, we appreciate y'all. We out of here. We'll catch y'all on Thursday. Peace.